tuning in to the online broadcast network, AfterBuzz TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AfterBuzz TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Cause I'm real. She'll karaoke up in here. Cause I'm real.
Yes, classic. That pink jumpsuit thing.
Who didn't have
Bringing
one?
it back. Who did not have that, right?
Yes.
Ja Rule, where you at, man?
I still have one.
Absolutely.
The juicy suit.
Yes. Hey, everybody. Welcome to AfterBuzz TV's recap show for NBC's Shades of Blue. Tonight, we will be discussing Season 1, Episode 3, called False Face, False Heart. And tonight, our boy Brandon is out on a cruise. Tragic, I know, right?
We miss you, Brandon. We'll
Living
see you
it up.
soon.
Right. Hope you're having fun. So, that's all right. The ladies got it. Holding it down tonight.
Holding down the fort.
Girl power.
I am Miaira Jennings. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Miaira Jennings. And I am joined by the lovely ladies to my left, Miss Erica Green.
Hi, I'm Erica J. Green. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter at Erica J. J-A-Y-E Green.
And Samantha Benitz.
Yes, I'm Samantha Benitz. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Samantha_Benitz.
Excellent. Now, got real, right? As the
It
song
sure
said.
did.
It got real this week.
Got real interesting.
We have a lot to get through in this time. But before we do, let's go ahead and do a quick recap of last week just to make sure we're all caught up and we know where we left off. So, last week, Harley was kind of feeling the heat, being the informant. She was feeling the pressure. She didn't feel safe, but Stahl wasn't having it. He was not letting her quit. So, she kept going. I mean, what is she going to do? She can't go to jail. So she kept going. We get a glimpse finally into Harley's past, and it is revealed that 10 years ago, she actually framed her ex-boyfriend, Miguel Cepeda, who was abusive, for murder. So that's kind of how her relationship with Waz started, and he helped her cover it up. So that's where it started, and that's where we're at now. And also, Waz was kind of getting a little suspicious of Harley, but she beat his lie detector test. However, he ended up seeing that she has a tell when she lies. So he is finally suspicious, full on, suspecting Harley is the informant. And that's where we left off.
Yeah.
We're wondering, what is Waz going to do about this now?
Nothing. Obviously, from where the writers are going right now, they're just going to go in circles, but we'll get to that later.
We will.
Definitely.
Yeah. Now, before we get into the meat of this episode, because there is a lot, let's go ahead and kind of talk about the reception of the show so far. As we know, this is a brand new show on NBC. We're only on week 3, and there's kind of been mixed reviews about it. So let's go ahead and see what people are saying.
Definitely. Okay, so the ratings did drop for episode 2, which was Original Sin. The Hollywood Reporter noted that the ratings were down 28% to a 1.3 rating in the key demo. And also American Idol dropped 20%, which Jaye was on as well last Thursday. But it may not be for the reasons we're suspecting. The debate was last Thursday as well. The Republican debate, which had likely 10 million plus viewers. So there was a lot going on television that night. So maybe if you skipped out, you caught back up this week. And I'm sure you did, because it was a crazy episode. But, so we'll see kind of how the ratings continue to drop or climb. But we did notice some reviews from fans on our channel. So thank you once again for commenting. We appreciate your feedback. Beware the Taken commented on YouTube that critics are being too harsh on the show, given J-Lo's media persona. She's not solely an actor or a singer-performer. She's both and more. And for many, it's hard to accept that or see past that. One example being a certain negative review that mentioned her being too glamorous is the reason why the show is bad. A complete joke of a critic. This person writes, "She's not even glamorous on the show with those raccoon eyes, 90s perm, and loose-fitting outfits. Just a reason to hate." So hate is gonna hate. So keeping it real, tell us how you really feel. Beware the taken, we like it. But, we also saw another comment from Sayad Saoudi. I'm not sure if I'm saying this correctly, but this person also mentioned the movies J-Lo's been on for cop films, including Money Train, Blood and Wine, U-Turn, Leela and Eve in 2015 with Viola Davis. So she's had a little bit more experience than people give her credit for. So, she's definitely done her due diligence to put in the work and kind of become this character, Harlee Santos. So we got to give credit where credit is due. And we mentioned last week how Variety kind of wanted to see a few more shades of blue, as they were saying, a few shades.
Stop.
And a little pun there, you like it? And Variety also mentioned that Ray Liotta's Crooked Cop is the most interesting presence here. And it's easy to see why. He's very captivating. He's very alpha male, and he's got those piercing blue or greenish eyes. Furthermore, the New York Times wrote Miss Lopez and Mr. Liotta pair well, and the early episodes have a pulse. The key will be how long the conceit holds up. So what do you ladies think?
Just about ending.
Absolutely. That's been carrying the whole series the whole last 2 episodes so far, right?
Right.
And they're kind of moving things along quickly. So what are they going to do after that kind of burns out? I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, we've talked about it earlier while we were rewatching the episode. To me, honestly, this is my honest opinion, it's kind of not going anywhere. It's kind of in like one of those little gerbil race things that are just going in circles, and they're coming back around to nothing again. And we saw that at the end of this episode. First, we thought that Waz knew what was going on, knew it was Harley, and then she somehow tricked him. As smart as Waz has been, how did how did he fall right back into the clutches?
Exactly. A little bit of consistency problems going on, but nothing they can't stitch up, right?
Right.
So with that being said, let's just jump into this episode, tonight's episode. First, there was just so much. Let's go ahead and start with all of the revelations that we got surrounding Waz's character.
Wow.
Right? We got a lot of insight. Yeah. So first of all, early on in the episode, we kind of get a clue that he lost his daughter. Possible suicide.
It's seeming that way. They mentioned that she was 19 and clinically depressed, so we're not really sure, but it does definitely sound that way.
Dead or committed?
Good question.
Because the mother didn't seem too sad talking about it, so I wasn't really sure. They never made that clear.
That is a good question, because I just assumed she was dead, but that's not really, we have no idea.
Exactly.
I know. I thought so, just because she mentioned the whole dream thing, making it seem like it was a reality that she kind of wished she could still be in. So maybe living in the past to kind of bring back their daughter. And I didn't even realize that Wozniak was potentially married. Did we find that out today?
I caught it at the recital. Yeah. Christina's, I don't know if you remember. Yeah, she was there, so that's interesting. Now, it brought up something pretty interesting to me. Do you guys think that that is possibly why Woz is so connected to Harley? Do you think he kind of thinks of her as a daughter and kind of protecting her the way he couldn't protect his daughter? Do you think that
definitely see that. Yeah, now that you mention it, I can see that, but I'm still trying to understand why they put these snippets in there. We talked about how I know we're gonna all get to him kissing the guy and stuff like that.
Donnie.
What was the relevancy of their relationship? Obviously, it goes back because he's the only person that calls Woz by his true name, which was did anybody get the real name, Matt or something? I don't know. He's the only person. Yeah, he was calling Woz by his first name throughout the whole episode, which they were trying to show the relevancy of their relationship. But I'm still not sure what exactly is going on right there.
Exactly. That was a pretty big revelation there with Donnie.
Definitely. And they're working on laundering this huge Juilliard type of money together. So I'm like, wow, they're mixing business and pleasure, which who knows how that's going to turn out. The reputation of that.
Well, I definitely think that their relationship goes back further because he knows all about him being in the service and a lot about his history and stuff. Maybe they were in the service together. Usually that's how people get close. I'm just putting that out there, but I don't know. I'm really interested to see where that's going to go, and they're fleshing all these other stories out that I can't really too much about right now.
Yes. I feel like that was such a quick moment.
Yes.
They can't leave us hanging on that. They have more coming.
Our jaws were all on the floor when that scene happened. We just did not see that coming.
Okay.
So kudos to the writers on that one. We did not see that little turn
Absolutely.
coming.
Now, continuing on Waz's character, let's just talk about his suspicions of Harley right now, because he's kind of wavering back and forth. What do you guys think he's going to end up doing about her?
Well, it doesn't surprise me. Waz has been very astute and he's very on it. Like, I've noticed, like, he catches Harley with every single lie. Now she's backpedaling now, and he's kind of falling for it because he does love her so much and he's built so much trust in her.
Right.
And he kind of is the closest with her than anyone else. So, but, you know, I know he's not going to shoot her. You pull out your gun. Police officers are trained. You pull it out, you shoot. So if you're just trying to scare somebody, you're not going to do it. So I really don't see where he's going with all the threatening her and stuff like that. But to me, I kept thinking in the back of my head, as close as y'all are, for him to like immediately just, think that it's you. Instead of, I'm trying to see where the writers are going with this because, it's playing the cat and mouse game, and I'm not seeing where it's going. Yeah.
And it's interesting that Wozniak pulls a gun on her at the end, just because I did not see that coming. I'm like, wow, you're going to kill this woman who you love and who you leave her daughter without a mother. So it was just shocking to me that ultimately, I know he wants what's best for Harley, and he even wanted her in on the deal in the get-go, but because of her alleged disloyalty, now he's feeling a little scared about it. Well, I can see why, but they keep making it clear that Waz is catching her in every lie, as Erica mentioned. So it's clear. I mean, he found out about the key. He knew even when she was in the bathroom, saying, I need to just go to the bathroom before taking the polygraph, that was a little suspicious. And just this whole meeting she has with the ADA, and, they have Miguel Zepeda's files involved as well. So I don't know. There's a lot of context going on.
And I was actually kind of confused as to why they reverted back to the whole suspicion of Harley thing, because earlier in the episode, I'm pretty sure when Stahl and Molly Chen were kind of trailing him, didn't they say, oh, he might be checking out Tess now? He might be. So I'm what's going on here? Does anybody know?
You know what I'm going to say, because I was saying it throughout the whole episode. I'm not sure what's going on.
Yeah, I'm thinking he's going to maybe, it may not be Harley. Let me kind of put eyes on other people here. I can't just put all my eggs in one basket. So I was thinking maybe, okay, we had this whole situation where Tess moves the body. Maybe he's going to tie that into the suspicion and start tracking her and maybe thinking she's the rat, but that never came up. So
we have to get a writer from the show on, because
I'm
trying to get into their mind frame, because I see that they're throwing us these little nuggets. They're throwing them out there, and we're picking them up. But I'm like, are these nuggets going to end up leading us to the treasure? Because right now, the whole test situation you just mentioned. What's the relevancy, I was thinking, really with Tess's character? I'm trying to figure out, are the writers going somewhere with this? Because right now, all we have right now is suspicion of Harley and Loman's story, which not going anywhere either.
We'll get to that too.
If anyone has any light that they can shed on what's going on.
Let us know in the comments. What do you think's going on here?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So just to talk about Tess's whole thing really quick, because I was just kind of thrown in there, but it was a pretty big deal in relevance to the episode. What do you think the writers are trying to portray from Tess? Like I said, I was thinking Waz was going to start thinking she was the rat, but that didn't come up this week. Do you think they're trying to lead us there, or is it just kind of a side story?
They're establishing something, don't you think? I mean, the fact that she mentions tonight that she is sure that her husband has cheated on her with a woman half her age kind of shows that she's going through this whole turmoil with her own husband and in her home, and she even wants to sell her house. And that's how this whole dead body situation arose, was because she ended up seeing this corpse there, and that's going to kind of bring down the home value for obvious reasons.
And the only thing I could think of Tess's character's part that she could be playing is the weak link. If when they start going after, like, okay, well, we're not moving anything with Harley's character. If they start going after other people within the little group that they have, their family, I could see how all of these storylines with Tess, how she's just been irrational, moving a body as a police officer. That's the number one no-no. Not to do that. And your line for that was, because I wanted my house to sell. I didn't want this.
Yeah, that's kind of a big
So that's the only thing I can think of in my head is why they keep showing us all these mishaps that Tess keeps getting in. It's because she's the weakling, and someone's going to end up going through her to infiltrate their little group is the only thing I can think of.
That makes perfect sense. And they're also going to go after Loman.
Loman. Hashtag Loman lives. Still alive. But the character's kind of fizzling a little bit, right? But we kind of saw his emotional side, and obviously he's still hung up on what he did, and it's still haunting him. So in this episode, we see him actually attend a charity-type car wash for the man that he murdered. He meets his family. He donates money. He's interested in one of the family members.
Why? How sick is that?
I'm
trying.
trying.
No, he literally went off after the mom.
He did. Thirsty, right? The thirst is real.
Loman.
Yeah, again, and I'm going back to, I'm trying to figure out his character's point.
Right.
Because obviously he's a critical part of whatever's going on, because they're fleshing out his story a
Absolutely.
lot. And they're making him like a very main character. But again, he's stagnant. How long can you be sad about this? You're a police officer. You're going to kill people.
It might
You're
get
going
worse.
to kill people. Yeah, you know. I mean, it happens accidentally, you know, and you would think he would be ready for that kind of things. How long is he going to be sad about this? 4 episodes?
Well, it was his first day out. That's kind of traumatizing for your first day on the job.
And even J-Lo mentions, like, if you keep looking in the past, that's the surest way you're going to have an accident. So she's already letting him know, you got to let it go, but I don't think that's going to happen, because he's now starting this little romantic relationship with the mother, and I think that's going to lead him to have even more feelings about what he did, and furthermore, it's going to make him eventually say something when the case does go to court, which it kind of seems like it's going to in the little preview for the upcoming weeks, possibly. So I don't know. It's looking sketchy out there.
I'm just like, what is his reason for becoming invested in? Why were they making this death of that assailant, whatever, so big,
monumental,
and dramatic?
right?
Yeah, I'm just like, why aren't we having another story?
Right.
Loman, let's give Loman something to do.
Well, that's what the only thing I can think of is that they're going to tie this into Waz somehow in the feds. Because otherwise, I don't know how this is going to last the whole season. He's going to have to either shoot somebody else. Somebody gonna shoot him.
Get over it.
So something else must be tying into that. And even when he was at the car wash, he made a little comment like, I'm no stranger to tragedy. So it makes me wonder if we're gonna kind of see flashbacks about his personal life and kind of why that hit him so hard. I'm hoping.
Definitely.
No, now that you say that I could see how that could tie everything in. They do have a tendency to use people's past on this show.
Absolutely.
And making it a very important part of what's going on right now. Definitely. So maybe whatever happened in his past could tie in somehow. But still, we're still waiting to see.
I know.
We're hoping for you.
I'll be patient. I'm like, give me. I do American Crime Actor shows, so they hit you with it right off the top, and I'm like, I need that.
Can't wait. Absolutely.
Like, what is
Eat
that?
it up.
But yeah, that's that. I'm trying to flush it all out.
I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
So let's switch gears kind of just a little bit. Let's talk about the ADA, Nava, kind of
getting steamy this
little
episode.
eye candy, little man candy for Harley.
That scruffy look, yeah.
He's looking okay.
Really? This is what the ladies do when they got.
I know. Brandon, see you next week, but ladies' night tonight.
We talk about the eye candy.
Absolutely. So just right off the bat, we see chemistry between them, but it's very quick that we realize Harley has other intentions for him. At the end of the day, she's got her motives more than just physical needs. She needs to protect herself and her daughter, and she wants to talk to him about this whole case with her ex, Miguel Cepeda. Where do you guys see this going as far as him getting involved with this case?
She's seducing him already. That's why she brought him out on that candlelight dinner. I see what you're doing there, Harley. And, she wanted to talk about the files. And clearly she had a motive, given that when she does go into his apartment later and she plays a little footsie with the whole, where's the line at? We saw that and had a little giggle before that scene ended. But, as soon as things got hot and heavy in their apartment, you can see that she reaches into her purse and she's, recording their whole hookup. So Stahl can hear, which I find interesting as well, because there's so much sexual tension behind Stahl. Yep. and Harley.
Yeah. You know, I actually hope that there's an actual relationship between her and the ABA. I don't know, for some reason I like them together. When they're on screen, I catch myself smiling a little bit on the side.
They
I'm
do have chemistry.
Okay. Yeah, there's just something there that works for me. But again, what's his point in this story, too?
Yeah.
He has to have a bigger point. I want to believe that either he's working with the FBI agents. I mean, just the way he came from nowhere, kind of.
Absolutely.
And has been sniffing around Harley. Yes, she's a beautiful woman, but he's sniffing too hard. He just got out of a relationship.
And
Why
the
are you
timing,
jumping?
right?
Yeah, exactly. So my eyes are still peeled.
On both sides, I would say. It's a very good
Very
point.
interesting. And speaking of that, let's talk about Stahl. He's got some issues, right?
Definitely.
He is like, because first we were kind of flirting with the idea that maybe there might be a little sexual tension between Harley and Stahl, and maybe that'll grow. After this episode, I'm thinking the guy's just a little crazy.
Yeah, he a little cry.
He definitely has control issues. I mean, at any point, he's going to slam her against the wall and remind her who's in charge. He does it every episode, practically.
Right.
So he's in there making sure that she knows who's the boss, and clearly he has this ulterior motive as well, because he's working with Agent Baker to also cover his own butt. So I really feel like when his job is at stake, he's even working at this case 10 times harder. But it's interesting because he mentions that this case has been going for several months. So they've been really digging up on Wozniak and their whole, crew for quite some time. So I feel like there's a lot more about them than we even know as of now.
Absolutely.
You know what's funny with Stahl and Harley? Stahl tries to act like he has her in the pocket, and he never does.
No.
She's hanging
up,
ribbon
right? I'm like, the whole scene where he was like, "Oh, when I tell you this," it was like so deep, and you're like, "Okay, yeah, get it, Stahl." And then, but yet she didn't wear the wire.
Right. She's still running things around here.
You're exerting your authority, and it's going
nowhere, unfortunately.
Right.
And I feel like that might be something that might be important in the storylines, showing that Harley has the reins over him.
Good point.
And
Absolutely.
I'm hoping that it ends up being something like that. It's just not in there, like right now.
Yeah.
Woz kissing the guy, just throwing us stuff. Like, I'm hoping all this ends up, going somewhere.
And I think they gave us a little taste of it because we got to see, which we think is Stahl's custody case.
Right.
Yeah, with his child.
Child,
Yeah.
So that could be affecting his work.
And also his partner was killed in the line of duty.
Exactly. So he's feeling the pressure. Like Gail said, I'm giving you rope and nobody else will. So obviously he might have messed up, and this might be his chance to redeem himself. It's not really going too well, so that's why he's kind of tense. That's what I think.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're going to do after that. So let's go ahead and talk about some predictions. Where is it going to go from here? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Oh, yeah.
And now,
We know this gets you hyped for the predictions.
I'm like, where is it going? I'll let y'all start.
Well, I'm going to hope that the writers want to tie in Tessa's situations and make her a suspect in Woz's whole idea that someone's a rat, and he kind of shifts gears away from Harley. That's what I want to see. They can't go the whole season with him thinking it's Harley and no, it's not Harley. They can't do that.
Yeah.
He's got to put the weight on somebody else. So I'd like to think that that's where they're going next.
Okay, I'll say, I think the whole thing with Miguel Zepeda getting out of prison or whatnot is going to come into play. And it was also mentioned that Christina doesn't know her father is Miguel. So I feel like when that bomb is dropped on the family and the reaction it has on her, Wozniak, and Harley, because they've all been kind of like covering it up for quite some time. Christina hasn't known. So that's going to come into play. And I'm also thinking that Lohman's whole court case is going to also affect that as well, because this is going to be double jeopardy, as far as Harley goes, considering she kind of had her hands in both.
Right.
Yeah. Really, mine is more a prediction and what I would like to see.
Yes.
the backstory is unfolding more. What happened with Loman, and does that have relevancy to what's going on today? What happened with Waz and his daughter? Just everyone's backstories. I want them to come out and see if that actually has some relevancy to what's going on right now with the cases that they're doing and what the AD is doing and whatever. I just want this to all
come together. Yeah.
To like, because right now, you know how much I loved the first episode. I was so in it. I was like, guys, come on,
this is amazing.
Yeah, and I was like, the writing is really great. You know, there's a lot of cop shows on right now, but this one I think, you know, could be around. Don't disappoint me.
Yes, please.
Don't disappoint.
Right. And I remember last week you were saying episode 2 kind of came to a standstill. So I feel like they just made up for that and threw a whole bunch of wrenches in this week.
Definitely.
Like you said,
we're not J-Lo butt kissers. We're gonna tell it like it is, and we're underwhelmed right now.
Right. So hopefully they tie up those loose ends. And also, I forgot to mention, I'm thinking Loman's going to crack. Because, as we saw in the previews, he's going to attend the funeral.
Yeah.
And he's going to stand up and say something, and I'm thinking he's going to tell.
Too obvious with the preview.
You think so?
Yeah. With them showing it in the preview is too obvious. I think either somebody stops him or he leaves of his senses and sits
somebody might
down.
stop him. But do you think he's going to tell anyone at all, period? Maybe not at the funeral, but...
I'm back to
maybe
Loman
the mother
needs to be killed again.
No,
just to shut him up.
He can't be killed.
Hey, Waz.
That's an easy way out. No.
Look, take care of this, Waz. I don't want it to happen, but he needs to sit down.
No. Do you think we're going to meet Tess's husband?
I don't know.
Joe, we don't know who this guy is.
Where you at, Joe?
But we don't like who you are, Joe. It's not looking good for you in the last few episodes.
No.
We've heard nothing but bad things.
I'm definitely going to keep watching because I want to see.
We're interested. We're intrigued, I will say.
Yes, please. And everybody out there, comment below and let us know what you think is going to happen, because every week we change our predictions. We don't know what's going to come up. So let us know and we'll share them next time.
Yeah.
Definitely.
All right, so let's leave it at that and get into some news and gossip. What is going on?
AfterBuzz TV News.
Well, in our news, we do have the interviews that we mentioned last week. The red carpet interviews by the hosts, Kathy Kelly and Ashley Daniels. They were at the NBC Universal cast, kind of bringing out all the cast and getting interviews and stuff like that. So we're going to do a clip of that?
Yes, let's show some clips.
Off the bat, I'm auditioning to play J-Lo's daughter, which is insane.
Right.
But as a character, I think Christina's extremely relatable for young adults and teens. There's just a realness to her character, and I think every character in the show.
Right.
And
how cool is that to learn you're playing J-Lo's daughter?
Epic.
Major.
You're telling all your friends. So you can check out all those interviews on AfterBuzzTV.com.
We got one more clip.
Okay, we got one more clip.
Oh.
So many people. Why was this role important for you to do?
It was just a great role and a great piece of material with a really great premise. I loved, how complicated it was, how human it was.
I like that she said that, because that's going to come up in the next thing from the news and gossip. There was an interview in Huffington Post by the creator of the show when it was asked, what made you create this show and how is it different than the typical cop show? And he said, well, I wasn't really writing a cop show. I was really writing a tale about morality, which is something that really interests me. And I think that's what we definitely have seen in the show.
Absolutely.
The cop stories have been kind of downplayed more than what's really going on within the families and what's going on with their self-struggles and stuff like that. So I think he hit that right on the nail when he was saying that.
I think that's definitely what people like about it. The people that do like it is that it isn't the typical good cop, bad cop. The bad guys and the good cops. The characters are definitely very conflicted, and they have
kind
different
of anti-heroes.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I like that they're doing that, and I like that he pointed that out.
Yeah, and I think you said it. People also like that it's not the typical cop show where they're showing one case per episode. We really don't see a lot of cases. We actually see like one case and it gets flushed out throughout the episode. So I think that's really cool and a unique twist on a cop show. So I think we'll see. We're sticking around to see what else happens.
Now, do you guys think they'll actually start delving in more to the cop side of it, or do you think it's still going to be more about morality and the choices they make? Or do you think we're going to start seeing more of like the gangsters, which we haven't seen since kind of the first episode, and the whole situations going on in the community? Do you think they're going to tie that in more, or do you think it's kind of just going to be about morality and their choices?
And their families.
They're going to tie it back in some way. I feel like the gangsters are going to come back. They've been working for Wozniak kind of, you know, undercover for a little bit. So I feel like that's also going to come out into the light sooner or later.
They're going to need to bring the gangsters back because they're going nowhere right now with what's going on in each of the characters' storylines. So we'll see.
Right, yeah. I was actually watching an interview that Jaye Okani, shout out the actor who plays Loman. He actually commented on our picture. He watches the AfterBuzz TV show, so thank you. If you're watching now, comment again. Let us know what you think about our reflections about Loman's character, and obviously he let us know that we have no idea what's coming. So
okay,
I think
even a little devil emoji. I'm like, oh boy,
we need to have you on here.
Yes, come on the show as a guest. So I'm like I was saying, I was watching an interview with him, and he was talking about the strong diversity in the cast, not only in the cast, but in the characters themselves, and how it was so major for him to land a role as a young African American that was so complex, because he hasn't really seen characters like that on TV. What do you guys think about that? Do you think that really is going to play into the success of the show, or do you think they're going to focus on that too much?
It's interesting you even brought up that article today because it's so relevant to what's going on right now. You see with the Oscars, the boycotting of the Oscars. It's just not. Viola Davis just came out in an interview saying, you know, maybe boycotting is not the answer, but there's definitely a lack of diverse characters for multi-ethnic, you know, for anyone outside of different races to play. They're just, and it's the same characters that we're sick of seeing too, you know, the maids and the stereotypes. Yeah, so exactly. So that's so interesting that you just happen to come past that article. Yeah. So he's right.
That's relevant. Well,
some work to do in the industry.
Absolutely. Only time will tell.
That's
we will see what next week throws at us, because we never know, but we're ready to catch it.
This is true.
Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in. You can download this on iTunes, watch all of our recap shows on youtube.com/AfterBuzzTV, and keep tweeting us, #ABTV Shades of Blue. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Miaira Jennings. Thank you guys again for joining us.
You can find me at Erica J. Green, and that's Jaye on every social media possible.
And you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Samantha_Benitz.
Hey, ladies out.
The ladies are out.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.